Incredible! Unbelievable!
Save! And Spark our champions!
Good on, Pepe! Goal! It doesn't get any better than that!
Hello everyone, welcome to the Game and Frame live stream. I'm Josh Pratt with John Passioni on camera, and we are at Hofstra University this evening for more American Soccer Club action. They take on Hartford City FC in the NPSL North Atlantic Conference. We can see a lot of youth players and then also the first team stripped down, preparing to walk out. It is a baking hot day here in New York and indeed across the East Coast. We're sitting at about 100 degrees right now. American Soccer Club very kindly have set a tent up for us, but I do apologise in advance, guys, if we have any technical difficulties. We are really fighting to keep our equipment from overheating. This is the hottest live stream we've done in 5 years, but hopefully we can keep everything stable for you. We have got a cracker of a game this evening. Here is the state of the NPSL North Atlantic Conference. The top 4 teams go to playoffs. There's a captivating final 12 days of regular season before we hit the postseason. Hartford City, the visitors today, have just about secured their spot. They will probably finish first place. 2 points from their final 3 games will achieve that for them. A point tonight will guarantee them a spot in the playoffs. For American Soccer Club, they might be sitting at the bottom of the table, but you can see they have a game in hand or 2 games in hands on everyone from 2nd to 4th. So victory tonight and they jump up into 2nd place in the table. That's just how close it is. And just to give you an idea of the fine margins in every game, we're now in 19 games in the North Conference. Only 4 have been decided by a margin of greater than 1 goal. And for American Soccer Club, every single game has been either a draw or decided by a single goal margin. American Soccer Club and Hartford met once before. It was a 4-3 epic. 4 goals in the first half. American Soccer Club fighting back twice from behind. Hartford pulled away in the second half. 4-2. Alberto Nieto got a late consolation goal. And I spoke with Coach Fitzgerald a week ago about that game. He's probably watching somewhere or other. And he mentioned that really he felt at half-time American Soccer Club had that game for the taking. It was a defensive error that led to the important goal that gave Hartford City the lead again. And that's been the story for American Soccer Club often. A lot of really good performances, but errors at key moments costing them. And this unforgiving level, it's very difficult to get away with that. Hartford are coming into this evening in better form. They've won their last 2 games and got 2 clean sheets as well on them. American Soccer Club 1 point out of the 2, but both of them very tight games. Of course, we were seeing them at Osna's about 2 weeks ago, where they nearly fought back despite being down 10 men for over a half to get a point from that. But if they can get a victory this evening, they suddenly jump up to 2nd place with 2 games remaining. And we should mention, for all Hartford FC's good results, they've lost both their away games and their remaining 3 games are all away. So that is just something to bear in mind. They're not entirely home and dry yet. Our starting 11 that we're expecting for American Soccer Club is going to be Kenny Cordova, of course, in goal, as always. And then expecting that we're probably going to have in front of him Wilson and Yates as the defensive 2. Jorge Nieto expecting to be left back, Alberto Nieto right back. Midfield 3 of probably Adamak, Sean Fitzgerald and Leo Pinto. And then imagining it may get a front line of Brian Saramago, who's the top scorer, joint with Aidan Colby, alongside Juan Gomez, and new signing James Tristino, who makes his debut tonight. And of course, we've seen so much of Tristino on Game of Frame. Talisman striker for the Pan Cyprians in the APSL season. arguably their player of the year, scored 19 goals in 23 APSL games. And he is a born and raised Long Islander, coming up through the youth clubs. He played at Adelphi, had a very impressive record there, playing 84 games and scoring 37, getting 27 assists. And we're not sure exactly how the visitors will line up. We just got the 11, but we know it's going to be Di Loreto in goal, and then just in no particular order, Andrew Balb, Colin Martin, Jacob Humaneni, London Abbott, Matteo Azambuja, Nicholas Washington, Parker Vizak, Pierce O'Brien, Troy Miller, and Mounts. And a sizable crowd has braved the temperatures. It's been a little while since American Soccer Club has been at home, but the most recent home memory is a happy one. Brian Saramago scoring that spectacular lob on the volley from closer to the halfway line than the penalty area to secure American Soccer Club's first ever victory. Crunch time in the season. Hartford can secure top spot with victory, secure a playoff spot with a point. American Soccer Club can jump up to second place with victory and move level with New Haven if they draw. After today, both sides will have 2 games. Both of American Soccer Clubs are against New Haven on the road this weekend on Saturday. And then they finish at home for the regular season on the 5th of July, which of course we'll have back here. At this point, there seems little doubt that one way or the other, the playoff race is going to come down to the final day. But today for American Soccer Club at least could have very important implications for them and all the teams from 2nd to 5th place. Matthias Adamak will be wearing the armband as always for American Soccer Club. He's played a number of roles. Guy stays broadcast is sponsored by Salt Athletic, who made the world's freshest, most advanced cleat bag. If you scan the QR code, you can get 10% off. And also American Soccer Club, I'd like to thank their sponsors, Lifehack, Limbrook, East Rockaway, Macron, and Orland and Cohen Complex. Hartford will get us kicked off here as Ambuja is wearing the green cleats. And as Ambuja gets us underway here at Hofstra, we're in the final 12 days of the NPSL regular season. Still everything to play for. Hartford City have nearly booked their ticket to the playoffs, and in fact victory this evening will win them the conference. American Soccer Club might sit bottom of the pile at the moment, but they've got games in hand on all the teams above them, and victory tonight will jump them from bottom to second. That is just how tight this season has been. Almost every North Atlantic Conference game has rested on a knife edge. Let's hope we're in store for more drama this evening. Sent up to Alberto Nieto, who's been a standout player for American Soccer Club this season. Offers so much going forward from the right wing-back position. Never afraid to take a man on. He's got a superb delivery and very bullish physical defender. Brian Saramago with a clever touch, and he's left his man for dead. Tristino with him. Saramago might not need him. Saramago saved sharply by Di Loreto. American Soccer Club almost ahead after 90 seconds. Saramago absolutely shredding his opposite number. He's so clever on the turn. Saramago knows how to use his body, drawing defenders. Adamak, who is playing up in the centre midfield position. Driven over the top. Miller will scamper after it. And it's blocked by Adamak at the expense of the first corner of the game. Or actually, excuse me, end up going out for a goal kick. Wilson, he'll drive up. James Tristino will sprint after, and Tristino hunts after balls like a dog, but Brian Saramago has got it instead onto his left foot. Saramago over the crossbar, aiming for that top corner, caught it well, just leant back a little as he let fly. Two decent chances for Saramago early on, and alarm bells ringing for Hartford. You can't give Saramago too many opportunities before one will hit the back of the net. Nieto. Adamak losing it in the middle. Di Loretto. Proved clear by Yates, who's a Sheffield United Academy product. From the UK, James Tristino loves playing off that last man. And it looks as if American Soccer are playing with a front two and then four in the midfield. With Adamak as the base. And I think perhaps Sean Fitzgerald playing in front of him with Pinto and Gomez either side. I imagine we're going to get at least one hydration break. Well, we're going to have at least one each half. Might even get two with the temperatures that we're at. Just got that confirmed, actually. It's going to be two. Again, it's about 100 degrees real feel, and that turf has been baking out there. So it may even be warmer out on the field. Absolute maximum temperature these players can really perform at. Expecting the sun to set probably about 8:15. Yates. Wilson. Fitzgerald to Adamak. Alberto Nieto. Back to Wilson and Yates. American Soccer Club patient in possession. Away Nieto. Got quite a left foot in him, loves the diagonal ball, often to his brother, Alberto. This time it's Wilson searching for Alberto. He's going to hook it back in, up in the air. James Tristino let it bounce. And the referee is actually going to pause play as Alberto Nieto went for the cross back in. I think he's whacked Abbott on his stomach. Might have even been his shoulder. And the players are going to be called into the bench, at least the American Soccer Club ones, to get their first water, which is a very prudent decision. Abbott still holding that shoulder. Referee is calling American Soccer Club back onto the field. We're going to restart with a drop ball. Abbott being walked over to the touchline by Hartford's trainer. Wilson challenging with Azambuja. Adamak coming to his help. Jorge Nieto. And Yates goes all the way back to Kenny Cordova. Oh, he should get a goal one way or the other this evening. Neither side has failed to score the entire season. Here's Tristino with his first touch in a white shirt. He sent it back to Pinto, and here's Fitzgerald. He's going to search towards Saramago. Slightly too much on the pass. Saramago will retrieve it. He's got Jorge Nieto in support. He does well to find Nieto. Nieto towards his brother Alberto. Headed clear by Bilbao. And Alberto Nieto a little late in that leap. And getting penalised. Di Loreto is going to smash it long. Wilson watching well. Shade is just starting to descend on the near side of the field. James Tristino brings that down to perfection. Tristino takes a deflection. And, just for a second, I thought that deflection had a bit more pace on it. And Di Loreto might be scrambling, but as it turned out, it just popped up in the air. Saramago's gone down. Had a catalogue of injuries inside this first 10 minutes. Holding his head, I'm not sure who he impacted with. My eyes were on Di Loreto as he gathered. Saramago is going to get walked off the field here. Saramago is going to get walked off. Imagine we'll see him back on soon enough. And play a restart with a drop ball for Di Loreto. Hamieni. Well, that's Abbott even, excuse me. Bill giving it inside. A little bit sloppy by Washington. And Adamak first to win that, as he often is. American Soccer Club have had most of the ball these first 12 minutes. Often they've been the slower starters in games, in terms of goals at least. They've only scored two. They've only scored the first goal in 2 out of 7 games so far this season, often having to fight back from behind. A little bit of a soft free kick given to Miller there. Jorge Nieto nibbling at his heels. None of the other North Conference teams are playing tonight. More fixtures will be on Thursday. London Abbott is going to be allowed to return to the field of play after a lengthy absence. Humieni. This certainly isn't a day for a really high press. Neither team's going to be able to physically sustain it with the heat. Adamak hung out a leg and brought down his man. Quick to offer his apologies. There's Mounts there on that far side. Here's Mounts. Washington. Vasic. Abbott recovered. Swings it in towards Miller. Decent shape to the cross, but too much weight and only Miller to aim for. Alberto Nieto. 2 goals to his name this season. Scored in the earlier meeting between these two sides, and his other goal, that magnificent free kick against Osners, which almost started an improbable late comeback for American Soccer Club after they'd been down to 10 men for over half the game. Vasic scanning. Alberto Nieto meeting it well. Pinto sweeping it up. He's been a regular in the midfield. Pinto, that was a little loose there. Miller. Vasic. Washington. Abbott helps it on to Bilbay. Vasic. It's a floated ball by Martin, asking far too much. Bilbay. So the referee's going to give the first water break at the half, so we're going to do it every quarter of an hour. Hello everyone, welcome back. Players back from their water break. James Tristino. Given all the way back to Di Loreto. Washington, who's playing in the number 6 for Hartford, who look like they're playing a traditional 4-3-3. James Tristino in the very noticeable blue boots. Wilson. Dinking over the top, searching for Alberto Nieto. Clever ball inside to Adamak. Nieto's offside. You know what? If Adamak had just picked his head up, Brian Saramago had a gap there to his left. Alberto Nieto ruled offside. Martin. Bilbay. Pinto getting a foot in, Adamak. And Hartford City are a little short at the back. Ranging pass out to Brian Saramago. A couple of white shirts making their way into the area. Saramago still with it. Taking on Martin. Saramago. Tristino! Debut goal for James Tristino. The Long Island born and raised boy, after the perfect start for American Soccer Club. It took him less than 20 minutes to get his tally underway. Brian Saramago doing the heavy lifting, took on Martin, cut down to the byline, teased it across the 6-yard box, and Tristino, with the instincts of a predator, timed the run to perfection, guided it in with the deftest of flicks. First goal of the season. I doubt it will be the last. I told you in the pre-match, he's probably the player of the season for the Pan Cyprians in this previous APSL season, 19 goals in 23 games, and he has picked up where he left off with the American Soccer Club. And that ends over 180 minutes without conceding for Hartford City. Pinto, wind in the sails of the hosts. Alberto Nieto. Saramago, cut out by Hamieni. And Wilson won't take any chances all the way back to Kenny Cordova. Sean Fitzgerald. Wilson searching up towards Tristino. Tristino and Saramago, often opponents in the APSL. Saramago, a Greek-American player. I believe Saramago might have been the Greek-Americans' top scorer this season, and Tristino, of course, centre forward for the fierce rivals Pan Cyprians. But comrades in arms tonight and linking up. All ready for a goal. Cordova drives it forwards. Brave header by O'Brien, and he got clipped a little late in that aerial duel. Hartford City marauding down that right side. Mounts. Miller. Vasek. Washington to Abbott. Washington turning. Matthias Adamak. O'Brien. Bit of space on the right side for Miller. He can take on Nieto. He's past Nieto. Miller into the side netting. Kenny Cordova probably had it covered. Decent fizz behind the strike by Miller. Left Jorge Nieto for dead. Biggest threat on paper for this Hartford City team this season has been Theo Harris, who scored 5 this season, including 2 against American Soccer Club in the previous meeting. But he is absent from the squad That's a bit of respite for the Long Islanders. Adamak winning it fairly with Bill Bate and driving it towards Saramago. What a pass that is. Brian Saramago, Martin with him. Saramago beat him last time. Brian Saramago. Not a clean strike at all. Howl of frustration from the American Soccer Club frontman. Zambuja racing after that ball, but doing little more than expending some valuable energy. You can see with the shadow on the field, the sun is starting to set quickly now, which is giving some respite to everyone on the field. Ball that Hoy Nieto was going to throw in, looks like it was flat. Heard down the channel, Tristino, lovely chest into Gomez. But one back by Hartford City, not for long. American Soccer Club using Cordova a lot, and it's a pretty safe bet to keep possession to go back to the keeper because neither side wants to press that hard all the way back to keeper, so just gives a bit of respite. That was a poor ball out from the back line, and these are the kind of errors that American Soccer Club have needed to eliminate but have not really managed to so far this season. So often undone. A lot of good work. Abbott. Bassick, he loses it. Adamak. Tristino, take no prisoners tackle by Humayeni. Got the ball. Wilson with a good step. Pinto. Fitzgerald. Alberto Nieto. Couldn't find Tristino. O'Brien. Washington. Fasick. O'Brien telegraphed that pass. Alberto Nieto reading it. Fitzgerald tried to split two blue shirts, wasn't able to. And that's a clever ball looking for Miller. Miller around Cordova. Over the crossbar. It's a blazing miss. He did everything right until the finish. Beautifully weighted ball by Bilbay. Outside of the foot. Got the weight and spin on it perfect. Cordova committed. And was left on the ground. A mere spectator. He cannot have believed his luck. As Miller sent over the crossbar. He had more time than he thought there, Miller. And they might not get a better chance to score all afternoon. Hartford City. Pinto closing down and earning a throw-in for his effort. If you're just joining us, James Tristino, the debut boy, scoring inside 20 minutes here at Hofstra. Set up by Brian Saramago. Bassick. Washington into O'Brien. Washington caught in it by Saramago, dinked over by Fitzgerald to Tristino. That's a clever header. It's Gomez. Juan Gomez! Straight down the gutter of Di Loreto. Lovely build-up play, Tristino with a deft header inside. Gomes should have done a bit better with that, straight down the middle of the strike. Had quite a lot of space. Abbott. The Heat hasn't taken too much tempo out of the start here. Lots of chances at either end. Bill Bate floating it in. Wilson with the first header and the second. Gomes helps it on, but it's back with Hartford City. Washington. Mounts. Miller returns it to him. Washington. O'Brien pokes it on. Chance here. Miller. It's a magnificent tackle by Wilson. Time to perfection. And even better from American Soccer Club perspective, it's a goal kick. Second time Miller has found himself behind that back line. And Wilson had no room for error. Last man threw himself in and took all the ball. I imagine we're going to see another water break in a minute or two. Boy, Nieto. And the referee is going to give our second water break and final water break of this first half. Whilst we have this pause, let me remind you that American Soccer Club would like to thank its sponsors, Orlin & Cohen, who feature a team of board-certified, fellowship-trained orthopaedic subspecialists, as well as in-house advanced diagnostic imaging, neuromuscular testing, pain management, physical rehabilitation, and occupational therapy. And Macron also proudly supports the Fighting Tomcats. Macron works hard to create cutting-edge, high-performance sportswear to support athletes from grassroots to professional in their efforts to become their own hero on and off the field. And finally, LifeVac proudly supports American Soccer Club. The LifeVac is a revolutionary anti-choking device that has now saved over 4,000 lives across the planet. Learn more about how to protect yourselves and your loved ones by heading to lifevac.net. And I believe you can also find LifeVac on Amazon. We're going to have more North Atlantic Conference action this weekend on Game of Frame. Austin's FC will host Hartford City. That'll be a 7 p.m. kickoff on Saturday night, live from St. John's. We'll restart with a throw-in. Jorge Nieto will toss in. Saramago. Nieto. Saramago back to Nieto. Saramago turning Vasic and switching it out to Alberto Nieto. Really well played by the number 11, Pinto. They'll get a throw in deep inside Hartford City's half. Alberto Nieto. Cut out by Hartford City. Wilson. Sean Fitzgerald. Yates gives it to Wilson. Tristino. It's a poor pass by Alberto Nieto, very poor. He gets a mouthful from Kenny Cordova, and Sean Fitzgerald has just taken a sit down and he's taking the knee off his brace. That doesn't look good at all, and I think American Soccer Club are going to have to make a change here, unfortunately. Difficult conditions to play if you've got a bit of a bad knee, certainly with the heat. Just have a look at a second who's come on once we get the number on the back. I think it's Jonathan Salguero. It is Salguero, who's back from suspension. Got the straight red against Osners 2 weeks ago. So he'll just slot into the defensive midfield position. Almost the entire field in shade now. Thankfully for the players. Bilbao switching it. Very poor by Martin, but he recovered well. Miller. Tristino, who for all his goals, assists and twinkly toes is also willing to get down and dirty in the mud and win the ball back like that. But Hartford City winning those interchanges. Bilbao. Azam Bouja coming into the area. Azam Bouja. It's another magnificent tackle by Wilson. And then a shaping shot towards that right corner by Vasic, but well wide of the post. Alberto Nieto looking down the line. Clever by Abbott, who we've seen before on Game of Frame as a high school player actually at the Tiro Sports World Cup a few years in a row. Very useful fullback. Vasic. Mounts. O'Brien. Miller. Up to Vasic, or O'Brien, excuse me, his touch too heavy. Pinto will try and thread between the blue shirts. Got clipped, did well to get a free kick there. And quite a lot of pressure. Nieto with not the best switch in the world, got fortunate. Bilbao didn't connect on that. Tristino. Salguero. Alberto Nieto, aggressive. Doing well to keep hold of that ball. Bilbao ran that out. Gomez. Saramago spins. So half chance. One of those where if he caught it right on that half volley, it was going to be a missile. But if he didn't, it was going to go into the car park as it did. Saramago, who was the architect of American Soccer Club's first goal. What a leap by Alberto Nieto. Bit of a language barrier for Alberto Nieto, referee trying to instruct the Ecuadorian to get the ball over the fence. Wilson came to assist. Yates with a beefy English header. Vasic. Mounts. Vasic. Zambuja. Miller overplaying it, but then Jorge Nieto loose in possession. Here's Washington. There's a bit of space on the left side. Bilbay, he's got Abel on the left. Bilbay is going to cut onto his right, have a low shot. Cordova couldn't gather in the first attempt, but comfortable save. Not a lot of power behind the strike. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that American Soccer Club have 16-year-old Dylan Lopez on the bench this evening. He's a rising senior at Cornet Quat High School. He plays with Stony Brook LGN. And he's already played 19 minutes of football in the NPSL season. On the weekend, on Sunday, or Saturday even, excuse me, against Shockers. And Jim Kilmeade, the owner of American Soccer Club, was talking to me about a central part of American Soccer Club's mission being identifying Long Island talent and giving them a platform to launch as far afield as Europe in professional leagues. And Dylan Lopez is certainly an early prototype of that ambition. And he's already been covered in the New York Post, and I understand that CBS as well are going to be giving some coverage to him as well. So a lot of bright spotlights on the young man already. We'll see if he makes an appearance. Pinto winning a free kick in a decent crossing position. And it will be Pinto who delivers this ball in. Bit of argy-bargy in the penalty area the referee is going to stamp down on. I tell you, it's Hofstrastrand, despite all the heat, pretty packed this Tuesday afternoon as it's whipped in. Comes on the edge, Gomez. Not a terrible strike. Don't think it was on target. In any case, Hartford City clearing it. Jorge Nieto back into the mixer. Comes to his brother, Alberto. Wilson. A ball lacking any real idea. It's nothing like hearing Kenny Cordova bellow at the top of his lungs, Karma, to soothe your nerves, is that? Washington over the top. Azambuja, he made a mess of that. A heavy first touch. Cordova may have been asking for Karma, but when he was needed to spring into action, he was a quick first responder there. Came off his line smartly, but too heavy a touch by Azambuja to present him the opportunity. That's the third time Hartford City have found themselves behind American Soccer Club's back line. Once was a glaring miss by Miller. He rounded Cordova and then put it over the crossbar. Another. Miller was denied by a fantastic tackle by Wilson, and this time a heavy touch by Azambuja. Bay, who's roaming across the park. Martin. Washington. Ranging ball by Di Loretto. Alberto Nieto rarely loses an aerial duel. Imagine we'll get at least 3 minutes of additional time with the water breaks, 2 of them, and also a few injury delays early in the game. Washington doing well to keep that ball. Fasic spinning sharply. Azambuja made the run from the right side. Too much on the through ball. Alberto Nieto tried to force the switch, not a good pass. American Soccer Club have lost quite a bit of their flow since the second water break. Being quite careless with the ball. After a positive start. Abbott. Bill Bate. Turned out a Mac, but Wilson there to cover. Yates. Saramago and him not on the same wavelength, and it's sent long towards Miller. Wilson with a improvised block. Gomez. Crossfield ball. Saramago! Tipped over the crossbar. What a goal that would have been. Gomez with a sublime pass. Weighted to perfection. And Saramago still had so much to do. He met it with the volley perfectly. Drew a very smart save by Di Loretto. This might be the final action of the first half. That's certainly galvanised the crowd, that chance. Pinto to deliver. Swept in, headed out. Jorge Nieto. Well, Alberto Nieto even. Very hard chance, bounced tight. And, you know, I'm actually looking at the stadium clock, which they paused that rather than let it run as we had, and it looks like we actually have about a minute of the 45 to play according to their clock. Adamak, brave header. Gomez. Cristino. Looking for Saramago. Slightly too high for him to bring it down. Azambuja. O'Brien. Washington was looking for Abbott. Pass wasn't really on. Been an entertaining first half. Lots of chances either end. Wilson. Carguero. Gomez. Back to Alberto Nieto. Nieto. Gomez. Swing it towards Saramago again. It's a good defensive header back by Mounts. Vasic. O'Brien. Abbott. Wilbay. There's Mounts. Zambuja just about able to retain possession. And then Gomez with a wild tackle. Play continues. We might see a yellow card for that. Play goes on. And then that looked like a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area. Miller and Yates going for it, and Miller was very canny with his body there, got in front of Yates, and right before the half-time whistle, Hartford City are going to have a free kick in prime position. Yates is still down. He's come off the worst for wear in that tackle. I imagine either way we're going to see plenty of changes. Probably at half-time, given again the temperatures. It's dropping now to a cool 95 after being 100 earlier today. About the hottest we get in New York. Well, this does not look good. Yates is being carried off by the trainers. It looks like he's hobbling and not really putting weight on that left ankle. So I just wonder if he wrenched the ankle in the tackle. American Soccer Club might not have time to make the change before half-time, but Hartford City are going to have time to take this free kick, which could not be any closer to the edge of the penalty area. That's concerning for Coach Fitzgerald. Luke Yates, an integral part of the back line. Never good when you're carried off. You do just wonder, is that the end of his NPSL season? I hate to say it. Only 12 days left in a regular season, and then after that's playoffs, which at the moment, American Soccer Club, if they hang on to this lead, are going to go into second place and will be in a decent spot for it, but still a lot could change. Looks as if the referee will let the hosts make their substitution. My eyes don't deceive me. That's Thomas Wagner. But also could be Andrew Watson. They have a very similar profile. Once I get a look at their number, I'll let you know. Here comes the free kick. It's O'Brien. Oh, it's brilliant. Lashes it in. It's a hammer blow for Hartford City. Right before the half-time whistle. Hit it to perfection. Kenny Cordova left rooted to the spot. And the home crowd at Hofstra silenced. And confirming it is Thomas Wagner came on, and that kick by O'Brien was the final kick of the first half. A sucker punch for American Soccer Club right at the interval. James Tristino scoring on his debut for American Soccer Club inside 20 minutes, assisted by Brian Saramago. Good chances at either end after that. Hartford City with the best one when Miller rounded Cordova and then fired over the crossbar with the goal gaping. Some decent other chances for American Soccer Club. Brian Saramago hitting a beautiful volley after a sensational crossfield ball by Gomez. That was saved by Di Loreto. But the final word of the first half, literally, by O'Brien. Game on here at Hofstra, guys, with the playoffs hanging in the balance. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back shortly with the second half.
My name is Austin Brummett. I'm a men's soccer player at San Diego State University and I play forward. The Salt Air Case helps block odor from my cleats when I'm driving in my car or when I'm keeping my cleats inside my house, so I don't have to worry about it stinking up my room. It helps me keep track of my cleats and my shin guards so I know that they're together and I don't have to worry about tracking them down or losing them or stressing out about where they are. I would definitely rock this, walking to the games, walking around to my trainings. And it's super helpful for travel. When I travel in the airport to go to away games, it's not going to stink up my backpack or stink up the plane where I'm sitting. Magnetic strip on the top is super easy to open to take my cleats out and to put my cleats back in. I think it's an essential part of my outfit for soccer and helps keep all my stuff organized and stink-free.
A quality highlight reel is crucial for college and pro recruitment. A lot of services offer generic solutions, but at Game & Frame we know every player is unique and needs a personalised approach to win over coaches. Our process is simple. We work with any footage, and if you need help finding your best plays, we'll review games for you. Once we've finished, you'll have a reel you can upload to any recruitment platform. We've helped hundreds of players get the attention they deserve, including placements in Division 1 programs. Scan the QR code or email us for a free consultation and start the journey to maximize your recruitment potential. Hello everyone, welcome back to Hofstra in Long Island, New York. The sun has finally set. The temperatures are still very high indeed, but mercifully, I'd say better than the 100 we were at kickoff time. We're 1-1 here at half time. Tristano scoring on his debut 18 minutes in before, with the final kick literally of the first half. First, O'Brien scoring a free kick right from the edge of the penalty area to level things up. At the moment, Hartford City with this point booking their place to the playoffs, the first team to do so in the North Atlantic Conference, and also meaning they will need only 1 point from their remaining 2 to be conference champions. But a lot still can change. At this point in the moment, we'll take American Soccer Club level on points with New Haven FC. Oh, sorry, 1 point behind New Haven FC even. As Brian Saramago will kick us off for the second half. Neither side making changes in the interval. I imagine they won't be too far behind though, with the temperature being what it was. We did have 2 water breaks in the first half. We'll see whether that's the case in the second half too. Now the sun's gone down again. I think the turf temperature is still very warm. Wilson, who was excellent in that first half, driving it up. Wagner getting underneath it. Brian Saramago. Wilson again. Should mention as well, American Soccer Club forced to make 2 changes due to injury in that first half. Sean Fitzgerald and Yates off. Saramago. Gomez was searching for Tristino, not the right angle in the cross though. Miller. O'Brien. Good spin by him. You know, we do actually have 1 change for American Soccer Club. I can see it hasn't been announced yet. But Watson has come on, and here he is. Watson gets a foot in on the ball. American Soccer Club have actually made a few changes. They've just been announced. I can see Morandi on 2. So I think Morandi has come on for Pinto. Looks like both. I just have to get our bearings within a sec. A couple of changes. So it looks to me as if Alberto Nieto has been withdrawn. Wagner's now at right back, and Watson has gone into left centre back alongside Wilson. And I believe Morandi's come on for Leo Pinto. Wilson, Saramago. His header clattered into Bilbay. Salguero. Wilson. Saramago. He was well dispossessed by Washington. And then he had a little nudge on the back of Washington, the referee's whistle blows. Appears there's just 5 substitutes on Hartford City's bench. London Abbott. O'Brien, the goal scorer for Hartford City. Abbott couldn't get it under control. And that was Perce O'Brien's second goal of the season. Tristino got in there first, and it was a high foot by Martin. And the referee's going to dish out the first yellow card of the night. Nothing malicious by Martin, but the foot was raised. And I think he got Tristino's shin height, or maybe even a little higher. I don't think he can have too much complaints about the card.
Yellow card issued to number 4, Colin Martin.
Jorge Nieto will serve this up. Takes it towards the edge of the area. Flicked on by Wilson. Tristino looking for an ingenious flick. Gomez not taking any chances. Washington. A bit of hesitation by the American soccer players. Mounts. Returned to him by Vasic. Mounts again. O'Brien. Washington. Di Loretto clearing the lines. Wilson always going to win that aerial duel with Miller. Huminiani penalised for coming in behind Saramago. I think he's feeling a little hard done there. Huminiani, excuse me. Jumping for that header. Saramago didn't challenge for it and got clattered in the process. It's another free kick here for Jorge Nieto. Similar position to the one a few minutes ago. And he's just going to dink it in. Not too much the 4 players could do with that ball. Salguero wins it back. Driving forwards, Salguero saw his name in the headlines. Then ended up putting the ball well over the crossbar. I've had a bit of a problem with the balls tonight. Di Loretto not satisfied with that one. Di Loretto with the raking ball forwards. Adamak. O'Brien not outfoxed that easily. Washington switches it out to Mounts. That's a really poor ball. Adamak He's going to drill it towards Brian Saramago. The race is on. Di Loretto, always the favourite. Good decision by the keeper to come off his line. Bilbate finds Abbott. Vasic. Bilbate. Washington. Mounts. Adamak with the initial clearance, and Wagner completing it. Hartford City having most of the ball in the first 10 minutes of the second half. Abbott. O'Brien off with his pass. Referee blowing his whistle. I think feeling Wagner stole a few too many yards. Mounts. Martin. O'Brien, who's pulling the strings in midfield of Hartford City, finds Bilbate. Vasic. Black shirt steaming into the penalty area. Vasic whips it in towards that far post. All the runs had gone towards the front post. Not the worst cross in the world, to be honest. Just not making that run back there. No clear chance so far in this second half. Feeling a bit more like a chess match now, not the same frantic open tempo we saw in the first 15 or so minutes of the first period. Martin. Vasic. Wagner sticking closely to him, too closely for the referee's liking. It'll be a free kick for Hartford City. O'Brien will whip this in towards the front post. And it passed a long way. Azam Bouja was the first to make an attempt. I don't think he got contact. And then Miller was after him and he couldn't either. Fell into the grateful hands of Cordova. American Soccer Club are really struggling to keep possession at the moment. Boy, Nieto going for the ambitious diagonal ball. Di Loretto. Ross, I'm watching closely. Adamak. Gomez, lovely touch. And Salguero is going to help it towards Saramago. He keeps it in at London Abbott with him. Saramago is searching for James Tristino. Cut out before it could reach him. Loose pass though. Juan Gomez is going to look to take advantage. Couldn't quite get it under his spell. Gomez's work rate has been excellent, chasing down the ball, went out of possession. There's a kick there on the heel of Salguero by Azambuja. To be fair to him, his foot wasn't that high, Azambuja, but certainly a foul. It's a lovely triangle. Gomez. Mount's watching him very closely. Gomez almost had him, but then lost his footing, and Mount uncompromisingly easing him, or perhaps shoving him, some might say, off the ball. Can hear what the home crowd think. Referee's going to give the first water break of this second half. No clear chance at either end. Hartford City certainly having more of the possession. I'll take this time to remind everyone that Game and Frame is sponsored by Salt Athletic, who have made the world's freshest, most advanced cleat bag. It uses antimicrobial technology to block odour, making for odour-free car rides, odour-free apartments. Certainly very useful, particularly in summer when everyone's feet, even the commentators, I must admit, get a little bit sweaty. Sorry, it was too much information. So Aircase, excellent product, and if you scan the QR code, you'll get 10% off. And American Soccer Club would also like to thank their sponsors, Lynbrook East Rockaway Soccer Club, Lifehack, Macron, and Allen and Cohen Group. And if you're enjoying this broadcast, guys, firstly, please give our YouTube channel a subscribe. We're going to have 500 odd games this year on Game and Frame. It's been an incredible spring season. And we're expecting to have an equally good fall as well. And also give us a follow on Game and Frame Instagram, at Game and Frame. Goal of the month competitions and more up there. It appears Hartford City are preparing their first change. London Abbott withdrawn. And also, the 25 has come on too for Hartford, so we'll just figure out who those are in a second. Watson surging forwards, but too much on that pass for Tristino. They've struggled to find the front line, American Soccer Club, so far in this second half. So Cameron Tedesco on, he's on at right back, and Lorcan Mitchell at centre forwards. There's definitely a tug there on Washington play. Referee's going to allow this play to continue. Good advantage by him. It'll be thrown right by the corner flag. It appears to me that it was Miller, one of the players withdrawn for Hartford. as well as Abbott. Mounts is now at left back for the visitors. If the scoreline holds, are 26 minutes away roughly from securing their spot in the NPSL playoffs. A lot can change in a football game in that time. Morandi. Saramago. Just Tristina to aim for. Hard to thread it past all those defenders. And Saramago's gone down with cramp. And again, I think this is just a symptom of the baking hot heat all these players are having to endure. This is definitely some concern for American Soccer Club. Looks like it might just be a case of old-fashioned cramp. Another change is being readied on the touchline. We may well see the 16-year-old Dylan Lopez at this rate. This is a sort of evening where it's all hands on deck with the temperatures. Looks like Aidan Colby, who's stripped down. There's Colby, who would be the most natural replacement for Saramago. He scored on the weekend against Shockers, Colby. Joint top scorer with Saramago on 3. And it does look like it's going to be the end of Saramago's evening. Hopefully nothing more than cramp. He set up the goal for Tristino, so he had his moment tonight. Going to be a double change. And this is a big moment. I think it might be a teenager. You could barely call him a teenager at 16. He's that young. Dylan Lopez, I believe, who's coming on for Gomez. It is. What a moment for the young man. 16 years old. He got about 19 minutes on Saturday against Shockers. He's going to get a good 25 tonight. He's going to slot into the centre midfield alongside Adamak and Salguero. So all the outfielder changes have now been made for American Soccer Club, all 6 of them. And Lopez with his first touch. It's an adequate one, not from Adamak though. And I do wonder how many more players are going to go down with cramp in these final stages, again with the temperatures they're all contesting with. You can see what a reaction that's garnered. Hartford City have also made a change. We'll get a look at that in just a second, who's come on. There is the newcomer. Here comes Hartford City. O'Brien was looking for the cross. Cordova just scrambling to get back into position. It's Mark Grant who's come on. He did score in the previous meeting between the sides. 2 to his name in total. It's Washington who was replaced by him, so Grant is playing at the base of the midfield 3. Colby's going to race after this. Grant had his wits about him. Or excuse me, that's Morandi who raced after it. Here's Aidan Colby now. Colby coming into the area. Well watched by Uminieni. And the last touch judged to have come off of Colby. It's a game that hangs on a knife edge. In a season that hangs on a knife edge. A reminder going into tonight, second place separated from 5th place by 3 points. If this scoreline holds, American Soccer Club will be bottom of the table still for now, but they still have a game in hand on Shockers and Osners. If they win that game in hand, they will overtake them. And just a game remaining for Shockers and Osners. Osners will host Hartford City in their final game at home at St John's. We'll have that here on Game of Frame exclusively on Saturday evening. Make sure you tune into that one. Hartford City, I believe, with just one more outfield sub to use. Tristino. Couldn't find the feet of Colby. Fed all the way back to Di Loretto, who kept his composure, but that's a poor touch by Mounts, who then tried to amend for his error with a lunging tackle. He's going to be a little fortunate not to go into the book here. And he does add his name to it. I think just the second yellow tonight. Both of them have gone for Hartford City. Driven towards the far post, and there was a tussle in the penalty area, rather needless. Brought down by Vasic. O'Brien. Miani drives it crossfield. It's a good ball. Tedesco. Bilbate. Nicely dealt with by Watson. And Colby can turn. Tried to force the ball through to Tristino. Wasn't really there. Well covered by Martin. Commanding header by the skipper. O'Brien showing too much Dadamak. Bilbate. Mounts. Vasic. It's Grant. Almost sold the dummy to Adamak, not quite. And Adamak's going to look to start the counter-attack. Colby racing onto it. A good foot in by Humieni. It's going to be a long throw here from Tommy Wagner. Bouncing around, Grant pops it up. Salguero, combative, wins the throw-in for American Soccer Club. O'Brien, who scored the fantastic free kick for the equaliser, will be withdrawn for what I believe is Hartford's final outfield substitution. I believe it's Damien or Damon, even, excuse me, Pollard, who's come on for him. Tristino. Adamak. And that's come off the behind of the referee. Confirming it is Pollard on for Hartford. It's been a subdued second half. Hasn't really felt like a goal was on the cards at any point. And I think so much energy expended in the first half by these teams, and the temperature. Hartford certainly, I think, would take this point. Would guarantee them in the playoffs, and they would just need 1 point from their remaining 2 games to guarantee winning the conference. And this would also be Hartford's first point away from home this season. Pollard. It's going to invite Hassan Bouja after it. He asked too much of himself with that touch. Salguero. Sock Club are just not able to find the feet of their centre forwards at the moment. Salguero, though, winning it back to his credit. Boy Nieto. Draws it crossfield. Wagner. Hassan Bouja making his way back gingerly to the halfway line after that last sprint. He's putting plenty of runs tonight. That's a good header by Wagner. Colby. And the volley just over the crossbar by Morandi. American Soccer Club bursting into life. Excellent build-up. The big target man Colby with the flick on. And Morandi couldn't keep it down. Final water break of the half. Don't turn off your TV sets, ladies and gentlemen. Still everything to play for here. It's another NPSL North Atlantic Conference game that is coming down to the wire. We'll be back in a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone. So Christopher Morandi not far away right before that final water break. Both sides have made all their outfield changes. Plenty of players at this point have played since the start of the game. Again, if you're not here, it is baking hot. It was 100 degrees at kickoff. Now it's dropped perhaps to 90 with the sun going down, but incredibly humid. Saramago, who takes good care of his body, has already had to go off with cramp. That's the degree of physical struggle to play in this game. Here's Grant. Mounts. Mounts again. Di Loretto. Bilbate. Well played out of the press by Hartford. Amieni. Mitchell. Watched closely by Wilson, who's been very astute defensively tonight. Morandi, who finds Colby. Tristino in the middle. Colby. Really good defending to slow him. Thank you, as Montez over on that side. Might have been Huminieni actually, excuse me. But this is in Tommy Wagner range for the long throw-in. Holds it in towards Colby. Big head out, comes near Jadamak. Took a swing at it. Not the easiest technique. Couldn't keep it down. Don't think this is going to run out for Wilson. He understood that too. Dealt with it with great composure. Wagner. His ball down the channel, cut out by Mounts. And that will be a free kick, but the referee's going to play a good advantage. Bilbate. See, actually, another change as well made in that water break. Colin Wright is on for Hartford City. So all their subs tonight, in fact, were outfielders, no goalkeeper backup. Wilson back to Cordova. There's Vasic withdrawn for Wright. Adamak. Tristino, clever ball round the corner. It was read by Humieni. Under pressure, Di Loretto only able to put out for a throw in deep inside his own half. American Soccer Club have kept Hartford City relatively penned in there the last 5 or so game minutes. It's going to be another Tommy Wagner hurl into the box. Half-hearted appeals for a handball. Watson back in towards the mixer. Good leap by Humieni. But at the expense of a corner kick for American Soccer Club. Can they find that goal that sends them from 5th place to 2nd in the North Atlantic Conference? Salguero will deliver. Swung in an important hand by Di Loretto. Tristino was waiting behind him. Adamak floats it back in. Wagner in the mix, or Colby even. Hartford City was looking for a free kick. By the way, Colby threw himself in. The referee not interested. It's a bombardment of Hartford's penalty at the moment. Corners, long throws by Wagner. Here comes another salvo. And that will be a corner kick. Morandi this time to send the ball into the 18-yard box. Towards the near post, simple header out for Grant. Watson heads it back towards the 18-yard box. Headed out by Martin. Brave by Adamak. Salguero. Adamak dinks it over towards Colby. Ball skipping off the turf. Colby unable to keep that in. Lost his balance. Just hang on a second, actually. The referee, I think he might have made a decision here. I think he might have given American Soccer Club a penalty. Or is it a corner kick? I think it's going to be a corner kick. Just for a second, I was unclear what exactly the referee was blown for. There's massive protest from Hartford, so I thought it might have been a penalty, but I think he judged a touch was applied by Martin. I'm not sure if that's right or not. I'll have to watch it back. If it was slight. But in any case, another chance for American Soccer Club to launch a ball into the penalty area. Salguero with the outswinger. Header by Adamak. Just over the crossbar. I think that took a touch off of a Hartford City player on the way, you know. The referee didn't feel that way. Wicked ball in by Salguero. Lots of pace and whip on it. Adamak looked like he met it truly. Hartford City can finally breathe after a sustained period of pressure. Throw taken quickly. His right. Wagner's got to be careful not to give away a free kick. Swept back to Mounts. He swung it into a non-existent teammate at the far post. Coming up. Big initial header by Mitchell. Here comes to James Tristino, though. He's going to invite Colby on a little bit too much on that pass. And you know, actually, I think it was Azambuja who came off. I'm seeing Vasic is still on. He's in the number 9 position now. Vasic, centre forwards. Watson. Wilson. Here's the 16-year-old Lopez. Clever little ball into Wagner, but his touch was heavy. Here's Grant. And he's managed to twist away from Wagner. Pollard. Bit of space on the right side for Tedesco. Pollard opting back to his centre-back. Himieni. Grant. Milbay. Right. Vasic. Spinning. But unable to find Mitchell. Again, with the 2 water breaks we've had in this second half, we will have a sizable amount of stoppage time, you'd imagine. That's a good ball to Colby. He holds it up and spins, and then showed too much of the ball to his opponent. That will go harmlessly over the crossbar. Adamak still with lots of spring in the legs. Morandi. Touch too heavy. Grant sweeping up. Mounts. Bilbay. Inviting Pollard to drive after it. He couldn't keep that ball in play though as he attacked the byline. Referee has said 6 minutes of stoppage time, if I've heard correctly. Don't have a fourth official board, but I think I heard one of the players saying that. Adamak. Back to Cordova. Going to take no chances at this point, but that's straight to Grant. Not a good pass at all by Tedesco. So with this point again, so long as it holds the point here, Hartford City will be the first team to guarantee their place in the North Atlantic Conference in the playoffs. And they'll need 1 point from their remaining 2 games on the road to win the conference. American Soccer Club will no longer be able to catch them themselves, and they will be bottom of the table, but just a point behind New Haven, having played as many games as them, and they will play both of their final games against New Haven, and then 2 points behind Shockers and Osners, who American Soccer Club will still have a game in hand on after tonight. Osners play Hartford this Saturday night. We'll have that back here on Game and Frame exclusively. All important game in many respects. Hamieni. Bilbay gives that straight to Wilson. Watson. Can see a lot of heavy legs out there at this point. Wilson. American Soccer Club have scored twice in stoppage time at home in 3 games. Can they recreate that magic again? That ball went out right on the halfway line. Watson hung a leg in, and he gets his name in the book.
Yellow card shows number 18, Andrew Watson.
Three of the expected 6 additional minutes have been played. Both goals coming in the first half. Truthfully, it's not been much of a second half to write home about, but still time for some late drama here. Sent into the area. Well dealt with by Jorge Nieto. Retrieved by Pollard. Martin. Pollard still lots of options to aim for him. Adamak got his body in the way. And Colby has turned Tedesco. He's been hauled back, and there's going to be a yellow card here for Tedesco. Absolutely no doubt about that. He'll take that yellow this late in the game.
Yellow card shows number 25, Cameron Tedesco.
4th yellow of the evening. Jorge Nieto will take this on the halfway line. I think he's going to drive this right up into the penalty box. What can that sweet left foot conjure up? He floats it towards the penalty spot. Flicked on, brilliant header by Colby. No teammate making the run to connect. Ball goes over the fence. About 90 seconds remaining of stoppage time. A little bit of commotion to get the spare ball. Wagner is going to hurl this into the penalty area. Bounced it around, popped back up. Here's Lopez, he hooks it in. Morandi, not an easy chance. He had to generate all the power himself with the cross being looping and couldn't keep it down. That is probably that. Again, I think Hartford City will be happy with this point. They will secure their place in the playoffs. And it's not a disaster for American Soccer Club either. But they may have hoped for more at home. Tedesco. Not a good ball in. Perhaps time for one last chance. Cordova drives it forwards. Pollard. You can see Juarez Nieto's legs are really heavy now. Bill Bay. Pollard. Offside. For 6 allotted minutes have been played. Referee making sure that the ball is just the right spot. Well, in the added time of the added time, and the referee will blow the full-time whistle. It finishes here, 1-1. James Tristino with a debut goal, 18 minutes in. With the very last kick of the first half, O'Brien found an equaliser. Not a huge amount of chances in that second half. You can see the effect of the heat on a lot of the players. The tempo really dropped. But you've got to commend everyone, including the referees as well, for their efforts in very, very difficult temperatures. Morandi had a half chance in the final 10 minutes, and Hartford threatened at moments as well, but probably you would say 1-1, a fair result overall. Guys, don't go anywhere. We will have a post-match interview with someone from American Soccer Club shortly. We'll be right back.
My name is Austin Brummett. I'm a men's soccer player at San Diego State University, and I play forward. The salt air case helps block odor from my cleats when I'm driving in my car or when I'm keeping my cleats inside my house, so I don't have to worry about it stinking up my room. It helps me keep track of my cleats and my shin guards, so I know that they're together, and I don't have to worry about tracking them down or losing them or stressing out about where they are. I would definitely rock this, walking to the games, walking around to my trainings. And it's super helpful for travel. When I travel in the airport to go to away games, it's not going to stink up my backpack or stink up the plane where I'm sitting. Magnetic strip on the top is super easy to open to take my cleats out and to put my cleats back in. I think it's an essential part of my outfit for soccer and helps keep all my stuff organized and stink-free.
A quality highlight reel is crucial for college and pro recruitment. A lot of services offer generic solutions, but at Game & Frame we know every player is unique and needs a personalised approach to win over coaches. Our process is simple. We work with any footage, and if you need help finding your best plays, we'll review games for you. Once we've finished, you'll have a reel you can upload to any recruitment platform. We've helped hundreds of players get the attention they deserve, including placements in Division 1 programs. Scan the QR code or email us for a free consultation and start the journey to maximize your recruitment potential. Hey guys, I'm here with Dylan Lopez, who has played his second game for American Soccer Club again at just 16. Extraordinary story. Dylan, firstly, how hot was it tonight on the field?
It was really, really hot today. It was like, 97 degrees, and the turf was just made it even worse. It was a lot of water breaks, thank God for them, but we pushed through and we got a tie.
Does it feel like a good point against the top team in the table this season?
Yeah, most definitely. The top team, it just shows that we can compete with them, and yeah, on any given day, we saw first half, we controlled it, and we should have came out with the win.
Yeah. What was the team talk that you guys got at halftime? Because obviously the guys who started expended a lot of energy in that first half. So what was your approach for that second half?
Second half, it was just to maintain dominance, move the ball, let the ball do the work. We have it right there on the wall. Play it simple. Move the ball to move the other team, and that was just our mindset going into the second half, and so we tried to do.
Secondly, you've hit over 40 minutes now as a 16-year-old in a very competitive adult league. How much have you enjoyed being a part of American Soccer Club's setup?
It's really nice to be here. The experience of playing with older people. I learn a lot from them. Just watching them every day. Practice into games, just how they move, how they think, and it's just great environment for me.
What's been the biggest challenge of making that step up at 16?
Biggest challenge is definitely the size. They're a lot older. They're bigger, they're faster. So I just have to understand that and move the ball quicker. Get the ball, let go of it.
Fantastic. And I understand you've got some aspirations to maybe play in Europe. Tell me a bit about those.
My dream goal is to go pro eventually. My favorite team is Barcelona, and if I can get anywhere in Spain, move up the ranks, that would be great.
Well, starts at Hofstra, maybe finishes at the noon camp, eh?
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, well, it's a pleasure watching you, Dylan. Well done. Keep up the good work, all right? Good job. All right, we'll see you soon. Hope you can get a good shower as well. Get some rest. You deserve it. So, guys, we're going to expect to have James Tristino and Coach Fitzgerald in a moment. So just bear with us a second, and we'll get those two in a second. Hey guys, I'm here with a very familiar face for Game of Frame, but a debutant for American Soccer Club, James Tristino. James, it did not take you long to get off and underway here. Great assist by Saramago, great time to run. What were you going through your head as Brian got that ball out on that left side?
Yeah, very familiar with Brian, as you know, he played in the same league as I was in the other APSL. So I knew his style, I knew he was going to go down the line, and I just knew I had to get into a dangerous area, and got to be clinical in that spot.
You are born and raised Long Islander. You've been an integral part of the soccer scene for a long time. How does it feel to score for a club that's really representing Long Island?
Yeah, it's definitely great. I'm very lucky to be here. The coaches I've known for a while over the years, the administration behind the whole organization, they're all great people. So it's definitely a great feeling. Very happy to be here. Last couple games, got to get a win now, and hopefully playoffs will be there. What was it that Coach Fitzgerald, and also I imagine maybe Jim Camille talked to you as well, what was it they said to sell you? Because obviously you're playing for the Pan Champions as well, you're a very in-demand centre forwards here. Yeah. How did they sell you to come to this club? Yeah, I mean, they were definitely fighting a little bit of injury. I was already talking a little bit with them in the beginning of the season, but it was just too much going on that I had to just kind of wait. But I've known them for a while. Jim's brother, Brian, I played against him my whole life growing up against the Massapequa. So just kind of very familiar, trustworthy people. Had a couple people that I used to coach with and play for that kind of pushed me in the direction. And, just full trust in the process. And hopefully this is going to lead to something great. So tonight, you guys got a point. It keeps the playoff chase in your hands. You're going to be playing New Haven back-to-back. Every single game for you guys has either been a draw or decided by a single margin. It's all been raised within margins. What is the key for the final two games of the regular season to get yourself into those playoffs? Yeah, it's just the grit and the want and the desire to get there. Everyone's got to be on the same page. Most of us really are. It seems like I had a great time playing with everyone tonight for the first time. So as long as we're all together, working for each other, doing the little things that Fitzgerald wants us to do, and hopefully everything will start sliding right into place.
You've often faced Brian Saramago opposite each other for the Pan Champions against bitter rival Greek Americans. Unfortunately, Brian had to go off a little early with injury. Hopefully he's okay. But he's a top-class striker. How do you feel already that the partnership building beyond just you two linking up for that first goal?
Oh, for sure. I already see it. I know the runs that he wants to make. We kind of spoke a little bit even before the game and practice sessions throughout the week, kind of what we want to do and what we look for each other. So obviously, just got to stay on the same page with each other, and hopefully those assists and goal contributions from both of us keep coming.
Well, James, a pleasure seeing you once again. Yeah, we'll see you again in a week, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, hope you get some rest. Yeah, good work in the heat. Good work. Now we're going to have Coach Fitzgerald as well. Good to see you, Coach.
Yeah.
Very hot day. Firstly, how proud are you the effort from your guys fighting in 100-degree weather?
It's tremendous. Again, I mean, one thing about us, we're a very blue-collar team. As you know, you've covered us many times. It's kind of given me more gray hair that we have to do that so often. But I can't say enough about the boys because they don't stop the grit. They don't stop the work. That's something that you decide to do or you don't. You know that when you're on the field. We can only encourage it. But they do that. They hold each other accountable. So I'm super proud of them for that.
Very positive start by you guys. Led to the goal. How pleased were you with that? Because there's been so many games where you guys have conceded the first goal.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been a goal of ours the last few games. The other night, Saturday night, we were at Shockers. We also scored the first goal. Unfortunately, then we conceded. We gave up a PK later on. Same thing here. Our goal has been to have a little bit better focus early on in the game and certainly not fall behind, but don't give up possession so easy, right? So play a little bit simple, move the ball around. So I thought we did that well today. It led to a number of opportunities. And, yeah, you can see the connection between Brian Saramago and James Thristino is just very good and a great support staff around them.
Does this tonight feel like a point game? Because you were playing top of the table. You guys still very much have the playoff chase in your hands with the game in hand.
Right. No, good point. So we knew that going into the game. I mean, last time we played each other, there was 7 goals scored in that game. And if you would have heard that, you would have thought, how does that happen? Like no one was playing defense. It was 4-3. So this game was a much more controlled game. Both teams, I thought, had a good game plan going in. They sat in a low block, as you saw at the beginning. We didn't get caught into that. I give credit to them. They were smart. But then, as we moved the ball around, I thought we were able to draw them out, create those opportunities. After we scored, I thought we kind of left our principles for a little while, and it took us a while to get back. And then once we did, then again, you started to see some of that momentum. Yeah.
You guys have final 2 games against New Haven. Yeah. Those are going to be like cup finals, first on the road, and then back here at Hofstra on the final day. Very likely at this point it's going to come down to the final day, one way or the other. What do you think is going to be the most important thing for you guys to see over the line and get into the playoffs in your first season?
Well, I think we need to get consistency in the top third, right? We are starting to create opportunities and chances. We've got to get consistency there, and then we have to be very safe coming out of the back, right? We've conceded goals that in previous games, we've conceded goals with mistakes that weren't necessarily things that had to happen if we would have played a little bit safer, but we're super confident, sometimes a little bit too much with the ball. So I think that as long as we're very safe in each of the top and the bottom third, I think we should be okay.
Lastly, Dylan Lopez got minutes again tonight, 16 years old. He looks like he's got a very calm presence about him. How impressed have you been with him in practice and in games?
Yeah, sure. So he wouldn't be here if we didn't think that he could do it. And quite frankly, seeing him on the ball in training, the guys don't give him an inch. They don't give him a break, and he certainly isn't looking for it. He rats, he works, he can hold the ball under pressure. He reads the game very well, always scanning. This is before we even started working with him. So, he's definitely he's a good 8. He can play as a 6, but in a game like this, it gets a little physical, but he's a very strong 8. He can get out wide. He can whip in a ball. He's got a lot in his toolkit. He's got a bit more to go, but I think he's on a great path, and I think he's in a good place with us.
I know it's a big part of American Soccer Club's mission to try and identify local talent and launch professionally, including even to Europe. Obviously, half the challenge is when at this age you're kind of maybe ahead of the pack. You get these opportunities at 16 is managing yourself mentally. What is your general advice to a 16-year-old who maybe is very talented to make the most of their potential?
Yeah, don't think you've arrived yet. Keep looking to learn. Keep looking to listen to the other guys. Listen to your coaches. Every experience matters. Some players will get there and their heads will get big. I can see in Dylan, he's a very humble young man. And so far, I think he's in good hands. The boys take good care of him as well. Like I said, they hold him accountable, but they also put their arm around him as well. So that would be my advice to any young player: is you haven't arrived yet, but it's a good path to be on. But look to the next part and keep looking to grow. So.
Fantastic. Well, Coach Fitzgerald, really appreciate your time.
Okay.
Good luck on the road against New Haven, and then we'll be back here for what will be a nail biter one way or the other, I'm sure. So.
Hopefully it is.
All right, okay, take care. Enjoy the rest of your evening. All right, guys, well, that just about does it from us here at Hofstra. American Soccer Club and Hartford City sharing the points. That means that Hartford City have guaranteed their place in the playoffs. They are the first team in the North Atlantic Conference to do that. American Soccer Club are still bottom of the table, but again, it's just so tight. They are 1 point behind fourth place. They are 2 points behind the teams in second and third, which is Osna's. And my memory serves me correctly. I believe it's New Haven, but I have to check that. You have to say that the heat maybe has addled my brain a little bit. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, this season is coming down to the wire. The next 11 days are going to be massive. By Saturday, a week from now, American Soccer Club will know if they're going to the playoffs in their first season or they are not. So make sure you tune in back with Game of Frame. And of course, we're going to have Osna's against Hartford City. That's a very relevant game for all the table. Hartford City, they need just a point to finish top, guarantee they're champions of the North Atlantic Conference. And Osna's will need points to guarantee that they're going to make the playoffs. If they slip up, that is a team that American Soccer Club can leapfrog. So that's all to play for. That's going to be Saturday night, 7 p.m. at St. John's. But for now, big thank you to American Soccer Club for bringing us down here. Thank you to our sponsor, Salt Athletic. Thank you to John Passione for braving the heat with me. Thanks to all the players and officials, mostly, for doing astonishing work in really, really difficult, hot conditions. Thank you to all of you for watching. Hopefully you had some air conditioning where you were. This is Josh Pratt, signing off from Hofstra University. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday nights, everyone.